The Great Fire of London, the 4 days that destroyed a city. September 2nd, 1666. Just after midnight, a small fire breaks out in a bakery. Within 4 days, that tiny flame will destroy 80% of London, leave 70,000 people homeless, and nearly wipe the city off the map. But the strangest part, the fire might have saved London. This is the unbelievable story of the Great Fire of London. London in the 1600s was basically a disaster waiting to happen. The streets were narrow. The buildings were made of wood and straw. Homes leaned so close together, people could shake hands from windows. And the city was packed. Over 400,000 people lived there. To make things worse, London had just survived something terrifying. The Great Plague of 1665. Thousands had died, but what came next would burn the city to the ground. The Bakery Fire. The fire began in a bakery on Pudding Lane, owned by Thomas Fariner. Sometime after midnight, a spark from the oven ignited nearby wood. Within minutes, flames spread through the bakery. Fariner and his family barely escaped by climbing out a window. But the fire had already begun spreading to nearby houses. And because the buildings were packed together, the fire jumped from roof to roof. The wind turns deadly. Then the worst possible thing happened. A strong wind picked up. The flames moved faster than firefighters could stop them. And firefighting in 1666 was primitive. There were no fire engines. The only way to stop the flames was to tear buildings down to create fire breaks. But London's mayor hesitated. He believed the fire could be controlled. That decision would cost the city dearly. Firestorm. By the morning of September the 3rd, the fire was completely out of control. The heat became so intense that people reported glass melting. Entire streets exploded into flames. Witnesses described a fire tornado ripping through London. Panic spread everywhere. Thousands fled the city, carrying whatever they could. Some escaped by boat along the River Thames. Others simply ran. But the fire kept growing. Soon, it reached one of the most famous buildings in England, St. Paul's Cathedral. People believed the cathedral was safe. Its thick stone walls seemed impossible to burn. So many Londoners stored their belongings there: books, furniture, family heirlooms. But they didn't realize something important. The cathedral was surrounded by wooden scaffolding from renovations. When the fire reached it, the scaffolding ignited instantly. Within hours, St. Paul's Cathedral was engulfed in flames. The roof collapsed, and centuries of history turned to ash. For 4 straight days, London burned. The fire destroyed 13,000 houses, 87 churches, most government buildings, nearly the entire medieval city. Yet incredibly, very few deaths were officially recorded. Historians believe many deaths were never counted. But the destruction was massive. London looked like a smoking wasteland. Finally, on September the 6th, the winds died down, and soldiers began blowing up buildings with gunpowder to stop the fire. It worked. After 4 days of destruction, the Great Fire of London was finally over. But what came next surprised everyone. Remember the plague London had just survived? The fire destroyed the filthy neighborhoods where rats and disease thrived. When the city was rebuilt, London was redesigned with wider streets and brick buildings. Ironically, the disaster that nearly destroyed London may have saved it from future plagues. Today, London stands as one of the world's greatest cities, but it almost vanished because of one small spark in a bakery. A reminder that sometimes history can change in a single night. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more insane moments in history, because the past is wilder than fiction.